At Chipotle, we also have a playlist. Guacamole as it's being hand-mashed. The sizzle of adobo chicken on the grill. The chopping of onions and cilantro. We call our playlist Real. Order now. Chipotle. For real.
Hey, this is Weslie from the band Moths. You're listening to Brutally Delicious Podcast.
The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
This is 70,000 Tons of Metal, the original but world's biggest heavy metal cruise. 60 bands, 4 days, 1 cruise ship, only 3,000 tickets. It's like having an all-access backstage pass. January 29th to February 2nd, 2026. From Miami, Florida to Nassau, the Bahamas, and back. 70,000 tons of metal. What are you doing next winter?
Nice. What part of Virginia?
Fredericksburg? I think that's
okay. Yeah, that's about an hour north of me. I'm in Richmond.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he offered us, and of course, anyone that can help on the road, it's always appreciated.
Hell yeah. Anyway, let's, are you guys in the middle of a tour then? Or is this the beginning?
Oh, well, technically, yeah. We can say that we're in the middle of the tour because we have 8 dates and we just played our 4th show last night. So, yes.
How's it been going so far?
So far, it's been awesome, man. Atlanta was by far the best show so far, but we played Orlando, San Agustin, Florida, and we did Asheville last night, and awesome shows and awesome hangouts, and we've also been able to meet and get together with some really cool bands too.
Oh, so now let's talk about the band. So record came out Friday?
Correct. Yes, last Friday, August 1st.
And what's been the response to that so far? Has it been pretty good?
Oh yeah, people have been responding. It's very interesting because you get everyone to asking us how to describe it in regards to the sound, and everyone telling how weird it is and how fresh of a listen it is, and all that feedback feels pretty good. Like we don't really write music thinking that's the feedback we're gonna get, but listening to people kind of going about it this way feels very fulfilling for sure, and all the effort that we put into it has definitely been worth it.
So do you actually do you concern yourself with whether or not the fans are going to take the journey along with you when you guys are experimenting like that?
Not really. I mean, one of the first things that one of the main things that we talked about when we formed the band was that we weren't going to really have a lot of no limits in regards to the stuff that we want to do music wise, And I think when we get down to sit down to write music, we are very open to try new things, and we're also very aware and understand when things don't work. So we just, do things that we feel good we get about, and people will enjoy it, So it's kind of our mindset about it.
Okay. Is there something you want your fans to walk away from after listening to Septem? So an overarching message?
Well, both understand that, again, that precisely that. I think it's mostly about them knowing that we are caring to do and hopefully to understand what we're doing and get a little bit of an idea of how a mix of these different genres and, the stuff we're doing works, and that they have fun with it, There's no pressure that we want to put among ourselves and among our followers or fans, that they need to take this particular message. We just want them to have a journey and their own personal journey. I think one of my favorite things about this is that every time we get someone to come up to us and tell us that they hear a particular influence or they hear a particular kind of band that sounds which is completely different one from each other, it feels good. I feel like it covers a wide spectrum of bases.
Okay. So let's dive a little deeper. So the themes of temptation, excess, and struggle that are present on this record, they require a certain sense of vulnerability, right? So during the writing and recording of Septem, was there a particular song that forced you to confront a personal challenge or emotional block?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think the idea within this particular concept instead of just being another album where we're talking about sins and criticizing the church and religion and all this stuff, it was more to have a little bit more of this introspective, approach towards each one of the sins. And in a general sense, understanding what we do in our daily lives that could be potentially applicable to each one of them, and maybe give a little bit of reflection about it and see how we can always try to be a little bit better every day. But no, I mean, I don't think consciously we were like, oh, this really hits home, and like having specific examples about these things. It was mostly to have an outside perspective about each one of these thoughts, and hopefully that would also get people to think about it as well.
Okay. So staying with that, if you don't mind staying along those lines for a second, tackling themes as intense as the seven deadly sins, and then doing so within the world of extreme metal, however you want to, describe yourselves, that can weigh heavily on you. How do you individually, or even as a band, manage the mental health while diving into such dark subject matter?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's more of it's in us, it's not, these are not topics that I don't think we're shy to talk about, because we are very open to really just within the band itself, we're very open to kind of like talk about how we feel about pretty much everything, So I think that we can also relate that into our music. So yeah, I mean, we're just pretty open and just able to speak about these topics to whoever wants to listen to. And if anyone wants to get a little bit more in depth into this conversation, we're specific with the sins or whatever mental issue that they might be happening. We're down for that as well.
You ever feel like you've put too much of yourself into a song and said, shit, I shouldn't have done that?
Well, I mean, not necessarily to the song, but sometimes through other stuff that happens around the band, maybe. But I don't think we ever regret anything that we put in these songs and into music. We're pouring our heart and souls into it, and we know the challenge, we know what it takes, and we're totally up for it.
Okay. You guys are from Puerto Rico, right?
Correct. Yes.
How difficult is it to get over here and tour?
It's a challenge for sure. Like it's different to bands that live in any continent, like with the US or Europe, that you can just buy a van and get on the road and just start playing as many places as possible. In our case, we have to obviously fly. We don't fly with all of our equipment. We have to either rent or, ask the other bands to see if they can let us do us with it, which is something that we don't really feel comfortable doing. Everyone's very jealous about very particular about their gear.
Sure.
So, kind of like coming up with all the logistics around that. And then, being, trying to kind of tackle these specific or the best contacts that you can get is always a challenge because, right now on this tour that we're doing right now, we played the San Agustin, which is a market we never had played before.
Right.
Also Atlanta, another place where we know they have great scenes, but we want to make sure that we're tackling to the right people. And that's the biggest challenge, honestly. After that, this is our third tour in the US, so we keep learning, we keep getting better at some stuff. I feel like at this point it has been as smooth as possible, but yeah, there's always a degree of challenge. And more most than anything, it's the fact that we would like to be a little bit more consistent in regards to coming here. But, there's also the financial aspect of it that comes into play. So, yeah, all of that kind of like closest to what the biggest challenges are.
What's the metal scene like in Puerto Rico? Are there places to play? Is there support?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Amazing bands, and bands from pretty much every genre. We don't have as many venues as we used to. We probably have like 2 or 3 that are pretty active at this point. But yeah, there's definitely a very healthy metal scene. We have right now, I would dare to say that we are basically at a point where a bunch of bands, I want to say 4 or 5 bands who are internationally traveling and, putting out really good records in pretty much all across subgenres. So yeah, we a couple of weeks ago, there was like a local festival that had about 400, 500 people coming in, only local bands. So yeah, the scene is very, very strong and the bands are really good. I feel like there's a little bit of a standard that has been set by previous bands that even like the newest bands come out very strong out of the gate. So
right.
Yeah. And we're very proud to be part of it as well.
Do you guys get national acts there as well, like from over
Oh
here?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I actually book bands. I book
Oh,
bands.
okay.
Yeah. So last February we got Soen from Sweden,
Yeah.
and I've also worked with the Ocean Collective from Germany and Circus Maximus from Norway. But yeah, we get bands like 4 or 5 underground acts, and then we have like maybe 1 or 2 like big arena shows. I believe Avenged Sevenfold is coming in October, so it's a little bit for everyone.
Oh, nice. That's great. And people support, that's pretty great too.
For sure. I mean, that's the reason why they keep happening. Like people are
Right.
really passionate about it, and yeah, Puerto Rico is a very really good scene for black death, thrash metal. The more of the stream subgenres, but there's definitely a prog audience. There's definitely like a heavy metal, traditional heavy metal, power metal, and then obviously a
Right.
mainstream stuff. So there's a little bit for everyone.
I think I'm just thinking about it. The last time I talked to you, I think you were in the middle of a blackout.
Oh yeah, those keep happening.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do. They do. I mean, the electric grid keeps getting worse and worse. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because we were at the hotel right now where we're staying at, and while I was taking a shower, the power went out. I was like, "Fuck, we can even escape Puerto Rico here." In that sense.
Following
So
you.
yeah. So it keeps happening. It's unfortunate, of course. It's one of the main. I would say if it's not the main, it's one of the main problems that we're having in the island right now. So yeah, it still happens. It's definitely challenging as well.
Okay. Let's go back to the writing for a second. I know you guys, we were just talking about how you kind of bring a bunch of different things to the table and you don't really kind of concern yourselves with what you're bringing in or have an open mind at least, progressive, death, black metal, that sort of thing. But is there a limit? Like if somebody brings in, I don't know, salsa, reggae, whatever. I mean, how do you know where the line is, or do you just try things and see how it goes?
Yeah, we just try things and see how it goes. I mean, I think, and I want to say that usually when we draw a line is when we feel like the song is taking, it's longer than it should be. That's when we're like, okay, I think that's a great riff, but let's try to kind of like maybe place it in a new song. That's usually where we draw the line. But yeah, as far as like, we have a couple of songs in our previous album where it has a little bit of Latin jazz, and we don't really like, if it fits, it fits, and if it feels fun for us, we're gonna implement it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe a Bad Bunny featuring may happen soon.
Yeah, but so when you're writing, then that probably takes your music and I mean, I would assume in unexpected, unpredicted roads, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's fun. Like not even when we record the songs, like that's not the final form of that song, and the songs continue to take shape as we continue playing them live. And that makes it a little bit, that jam kind of feeling to it makes it fun for us. I think it also makes it not boring and repetitive.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's always. I mean, I always say this. Like I've been in a bunch of bands throughout my career, and I feel like this is my favorite way of composing music because we just get to exchange ideas. I personally feel lucky that I'm playing with a bunch of really talented musicians, and they have great ideas. So being able to explore that with them, it's always fun, and just see where it takes us. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Um, when you're writing, are you writing like with the live stage in mind, with the live setting in mind, like how it'll come across on stage, or are you writing the songs and then adapting later on?
Yeah, we mostly write thinking about the record itself, not necessarily like completely focusing on details on that end, but we think about how, like if we're gonna do like a fade out and adding extra elements that are not necessarily going to be implemented in the example, and basically have a lot have a synth on it. We don't have a live synth player at this point, so we just try to think about the record, what feels right, and then after that we kind of like adjust it to how we're gonna.
Listening to the record and and what it's based on, I could see this being a massive stage production. If you didn't have a budget, what would this look like live?
Oh man, dude, like I've thought about it so many times. Like it would be cool to have like a LED screen with like like navigating the artwork. We're lucky to also work with some amazing artists as well, and I think that people would appreciate that. It would be cool to have that be projected within our shows, and then an amazing light show. I think lights could really make a really good atmosphere out of each of these songs, and that would be a dream. So yeah, a lot of really intense lighting and a lot of really cool and trippy visuals for sure.
Do you think about that things when you're writing as well?
Not necessarily. I personally don't think about it. I think about it when I have the masters of the album, and I kind of like place myself playing the album back, from front to the back, and just kind of thinking about what would be the overall flow of the show. That's when I think about these things, and I think about colors, and I think about what would be cool to kind of like implement. So yeah, because when we're writing, I want to focus on the writing itself, and then once we have the final form of the recorded version of the final form, then like those ideas start to flow.
Right. So you guys are still doing records, which I think is great. What's it like? And I think it's also a very lost art, the whole sequencing. I mean, the art of sequencing, right? Creating a journey and how you want ebbs and flows to go and taking the listener with you. How much time do you guys spend on that?
I mean, we are very big music nerds in the band, so we consume a bunch of albums, and we understand that the concept with like of the album concept is something that, as you said, is a lost art. I personally don't consume singles. I have to listen to a whole album. I really don't listen to. So I want to. We would like to kind of like apply that into our music. In regards to how long it takes, it's really all about the composing process. When we're writing music, once we finish the first song, we think about, okay, do we want to relate it to the previous one, or how do we want to go about it? And then once we have all the songs ready to go, we kind of like think about that particular concept and how it's going to be applied within the album itself. But that's not something that we really kind of like sit down and really analyze. It's just it's a lot of a natural flow in a lot of these things. I mean, there's a lot of planning, but at the same time, I think that the planning happens more in all the other aspects that are not the music itself. The music itself flows very naturally. So,
Okay. So what's next for you guys? Then you have any more singles coming out? Any more videos?
no. So as far as Septem goes, we're finishing this tour that we're doing right now. We have 4 more dates. We playing Philly on Wednesday, Baltimore on Thursday, New York City on Friday, and then we finish at Summer Gloom in Somerville, Massachusetts, sharing the stage with Sumac on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, then we're playing in November. We're playing in Mexico, 4 dates in Mexico. Hopefully, when we get back home, we're gonna. So we have about 4, I think 5, 6 songs already written for the next record. So I'm pretty sure that we're gonna go down and continue like working on that. Ideally, we want to start recording something by the end of the year, so we can hopefully drop this by next year. So it won't take 3 more years to listen to new music from Moths.
Right. All right. Fair
Yeah.
enough. I think that brings me to the end of what I had written out. Did I miss anything you wanted to cover?
No, I think we have everything.
If fans want to find you, can you give us all your socials?
For sure, yeah. Anyone can find us pretty much in every single social media platform through Moths ER. Streaming platforms as well, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, whatever. We are in Bandcamp as well. We are in Adwall. If anyone's interested in getting some merch, we have that available over our Bandcamp page. And yeah, just stay in touch. We don't buy to, and we're very responsive.
Awesome.